Hey guys! If you're trying to get into nursing school this year and you just feel confused, overwhelmed, you feel like there's just so much information out there, so many paths to take, you feel like everyone's gatekeeping information from you, you just overall don't know where to start, but you know that this is a path for you, then take a deep breath. I'm about to tell you absolutely every single thing about getting into nursing school right now, all the different paths you can take, the prerequisites you need, we're even talking about entrance exams. And at the end of this video, I'm going to tell you step by step what I would do if I had to start all this research and start all my applications again from scratch. Before we get into it, I need to do a little intro first. Don't click off just because you don't know who I am. This is very important. I'm Amber, and I'm starting nursing school in the fall, so I'm in my pre-nursing phase. I've chosen my program. I know exactly where I'm going, so now I'm just in my prerequisite phase. And if you are in nursing school or you're about to go to nursing school, consider following because I'm about to post all about what it's like in this pre-nursing phase, doing prerequisites, how I prepare for nursing school, and just the lifestyle of going back to school at 26 years old because I'm 26 years old and this is my second career, so I'm doing a little pivot right now. So if you're at all interested in that, consider following along. But I'm gonna go ahead and stop yapping and we're gonna jump right into this video. So first things first, when people say they are applying to nursing school, that can mean a variety of different things. There are multiple routes to becoming a registered nurse. And the right one really just depends on your GPA, your situation, how much money you got in the bank, and how much time do you have to put into school. And also whether or not you have a degree. Which leads me into my first point, the 4 main routes into nursing. We're gonna start with the first route. This is the ADN route, your associate degree in nursing. This is usually at a community college and it takes around 2 to 3 years to complete. It is cheaper, it is shorter than the traditional BSN route. And after graduating, you take the NCLEX just like every other path and you become a registered nurse. So you get the same exact license that a BSN student would get, just a shorter amount of time, and it's usually a little bit cheaper. The pros of this route is that it is way more affordable than going the traditional BSN route. Shorter program length, you get the same NCLEX, and I also think it has a great ROI because you get to start working as a nurse way faster. So this is for those people that want to get started making that money. You can go this route for sure. And you can literally start making RN money without paying that big tuition, big university price. The biggest con I can think about for this route though is that some hospitals do have a preference for people with a BSN. So I would just make sure to look into the hospitals in your area or in whatever state that you plan to practice in. See if they require you at any point to get your BSN to see if it's even worth it to go the ADN route. But obviously if you need to get started quickly making money, I think this is a really good choice. Next, we have the traditional BSN route. This is usually a 4-year program at a traditional university. You're either admitted directly into the university as a nursing student, or you can apply to the nursing program after completing 1 to 2 years of prerequisites. So the pros of this is that it's oftentimes preferred by hospitals if you have a BSN, especially if you want to work at a bigger, more well-known hospital, they tend to favor the BSN. This route, especially if you want to become an MP or you want to get a master's, it's more preferable for you to get the BSN because it's way easier to transition into grad school. Most of these grad schools, you need a BSN to get in. But of course, it comes with its cons because 1, it's way more expensive. It's a 4-year program at a regular university, so you already know it comes with that big price tag. Way longer timeline, 4 full years of college. If you have not gotten a degree before, then obviously this is fine. Most people go to 4-year universities. I did. But if this is your second degree, obviously going back to a 4-year program is just way longer, way more expensive, and tends to not be worth it. So I would say this is a very good route for someone who is young, who is coming maybe straight out of high school and is about to go to college. Definitely look into a traditional BSN program. You get the 4-year experience of being at a college while also just being in nursing school, and you get to graduate really young usually and be an RN, which is really cool. Number 3, we have the accelerated BSN. This is usually for people who are going for a second degree. So you're trying to make a career pivot. Usually you have a bachelor's degree in something else. Usually how this goes is you complete your prerequisites if you haven't already done them, and then you enter into a 12 to 18 month accelerated program. These accelerated programs are no joke, but you do get out with your BSN and you get to take the NCLEX and become a registered nurse in 12 to 18 months, with this obviously way shorter than if you go that 4-year route. So obviously the pros of this is that it's a way faster way to become an RN. You get the BSN at the end of this 12 to 18 months. Obviously super high return on investment if you're transitioning from another field. You only have to wait 12 months and you can get back to making some really good money, especially if you're transitioning. So I think that is always really good. But these cons though, let me get into it. When I say accelerated, you are essentially shrinking 4 years of knowledge that you would get at a traditional university and you are putting it into a 12 to 18 month program. So essentially you are going to be drinking from a fire hose. And not to say it's not possible though. People do these programs every single day, but it is one of those programs where you're going to have to lock in and you're going to have to focus. The timeline is so short that it's going to feel so intense. Obviously, another really big con is that you can't really work during these programs. Like I'm sure some people do, but it is going to be extremely difficult for you to work during these programs because of the accelerated nature of it all. So if you don't have money saved up, just know that is another expense you have to think about. So this is my biggest thing when it comes to this route. This is actually the route I'm taking. So if you have any questions specifically on this, then let me know because this is the route that I'm going. But just keep that in mind that you usually cannot work during your ABSN program. So 12 to 18 months, you will be out of work. But then after that, you'll make a lot of money. So pros and cons. And then this last one I'm going to go over is the LPN to RN bridge program. So this is where you first become an LPN, which usually takes about 12 months, and then you bridge into an RN program. And a really important distinction here to make is that LPN and RNs are completely different. So just make sure you know that before you do an LPN RN bridge. LPNs have a way more limited scope of practice. They usually work below an RN. So you will not be in the role of an RN and you usually will be making less than an RN. But if you are someone who needs to start making money sooner before you go back to nursing school and go get your RN, then an LPN, I think it's a really good option. Sometimes these programs are also way easier to get into. So for example, if you don't have a really high GPA, you need to get your GPA up before you go get your RN. That is something that is also really good about these programs. And another major con that I would say about this is that because it's a bridge program, there is a delay between getting the LPN license and starting your RN license. So if you're not the type of person that has the discipline to go straight back to school, there is a chance that you may end up putting off going and get your RN, which it limits your earning potential, obviously. So I would just say these are all very serious pros and cons, but they all have their advantages. And as I said before and earlier, it really just depends on what phase you are in life, your GPA, how much money you have, how much time you have. So hopefully that section was helpful. And now we're going to move into your prerequisites. So before you even apply to nursing school, you're going to need some prerequisites. Most schools require anatomy and physiology 1 and 2, microbiology, chemistry, biology, statistics, psychology course, so either lifespan development or abnormal psychology, and usually English language, English composition. The first piece of advice I can give you when it comes to getting these prerequisites, if you're not coming straight from high school where you already have taken all of these courses, definitely look into the cheapest way you can get them done. So community colleges, there's no shame in getting those classes done at community colleges. Usually it's cheaper and it's way easier to get these classes done. Or how I'm doing it, if you don't have access to a community college or it's still too expensive, I use Portage Learning. Definitely always check with the school that you're going to or the school that you want to go to if they accept Portage Learning credits. But most of the schools that I have checked do. Even schools like Johns Hopkins have accepted these. So Johns Hopkins is a good school. So I'm like, Johns Hopkins takes it, most people are going to take it. But still check with the school because you never know. But Portage Learning is a more affordable way to get these done. So far, I've had no issues with getting my prerequisites accepted. It's completely remote and they work completely with your schedule. You can complete these classes as fast or as slow as you want to. So I always say it's a good thing. One more thing that I would say though on prerequisites, most of these have to be completed within 5 to 7 years of the program starting. So if you went to college years ago, you more than likely have to redo it. But another thing that I have to mention, your science GPA matters a lot when you're applying to nursing programs. So if there's one tip that I can give you, it is make sure that when you're taking these classes, you try to focus very hard on getting good grades in your science courses. Some schools require 2.5 and up with your science GPA, but for really good schools, obviously, they're going to be expecting 3.2 and up with your science GPA. So keep that in mind and make sure that when you are doing your courses, you focus on getting really good grades. Next, we are going to talk about entrance exams. I'm not going to go too deep into these entrance exams because depending on the route you're taking, you may never even have to take this, but I'm gonna tell you anyway. So a lot of programs will require an entrance exam like the TEAS or the HESI A2. You need to check with the program and the specific route that you're going for to see if you even need to worry about these exams. In my ABSN route, I did not have to worry about these exams, so I can't even give you the first-hand knowledge of any of these. But when I was researching all the schools I was trying to go to, some of the schools did want to see the TEAS. In these entrance exams, they test math, English, science, and reading components. Think of it like a second SAT. Obviously, the higher you score, the stronger your application. So if you do have to take this exam, do not wait until the last minute to study, girl. Make sure that you treat it just like the SAT, ACT, or any other entrance exam, and know that these scores do matter for some of these schools. Also, it does just help to strengthen your application. So if maybe your GPA is lower, look into taking some of these exams because it can help to just boost your application. So the next thing I'll talk about is just extra things in your application. I know we talked about your science GPA and things like that, but another really important thing is that it's not just about grades. If your grades aren't the best, these schools usually do a holistic application process. So you can focus on other things like getting experience, writing a really good personal statement, getting really good recommendations from employers. Of course, always check with the program beforehand. I'm gonna always drop that disclaimer because all of them don't need personal statements or recommendations, but some of them do. So always check with the school that you're applying to. But I always stress that if you can, get some experience before going into the field, not just because you want your applications to look good, but you also want to get a feel of what you want to do after nursing school. Right now, I do behavioral health. I work at a mental health clinic because I'm very interested in psych and I want to be a psych nurse practitioner at the end of this journey. So for me, working in behavioral health showed me what I like, what I don't like about the field. And it also just showed me that psych is really something that I'm passionate about and that I do enjoy doing. And also, did I mention that it looks really good on application? We have hit the last section of this video, and I promised that I would tell you exactly what I would do from scratch if I had to restart this whole process over again. So here we go. Step one, I would research all of my local universities and see which one has the program that I'm interested in. If I'm only interested in ABSN programs, I would only look for programs that have ABSN programs. I would also do a search for maybe 2 or 3 schools in other states that have the same program, and I would make a nice little list. The next thing I would do, I would compare their GPA and all their testing requirements, and obviously just see which schools I'm already qualified for and which schools I may already need to find some other supplemental things to make sure my application looks good. And just like when you're applying for college, you need some schools that are right in your range that you can easily get accepted to, some schools that are kind of out of your league but you're still going to apply to, and some safety schools, of course, just in case, because you don't want to just only have really top schools and then none of them accept you and then you're putting off school for another year. Step 3, I would take my prerequisites very strategically and protect my science GPA. When I say take my prerequisites strategically, what I mean by that is if I have to take multiple prerequisites at one time, I would take 1 hard class, 2 easy classes, so that I'm making sure that I'm protecting my GPA. I'm not just forcing all these hard classes together and doing mediocre in all of them. I would make sure that all the classes I'm taking, the way it's set up, that I can get high B's to A's in absolutely all of them super easily. And the last thing I would do is keep a calendar of all of the application deadlines for all of the schools that I want to apply to, stick them up on a wall so that I don't miss anything, and make sure to gather any personal statements, any letters of recommendation on time. Actually, I would make sure to gather them way ahead of time. So when it's time to send in these applications, there are no delays and I make sure that my application gets reviewed on time. And really, that is more than likely absolutely everything you need to know about getting into nursing school. I know that researching can feel so overwhelming and there's just so many information, so many different paths, but you got this, girl. If you are thinking about going to nursing school, you're currently in nursing school, or you're about to start soon, comment down below. Let me know how old you are, why you want to be a nurse, what field you're hoping to get into afterwards. And if you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, because I'm going to be posting way more content about nursing school, my life in the pre-nursing phase and how I'm getting ready for nursing school, and just leveling up my career in general. If that sounds like something you would love, hit the subscribe button and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.